and we'll get on with today's session.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for the intro. I want to let you guys know as well that the only screen I can see is what I'm sharing. So yeah, the chat and things like that I can't see, but hopefully Jason can chime in when needed. But yeah, thanks for all joining today. So I've titled it Mastering the Basics of Architectural Drawing, but I'll also go through my career, the typical career of an architect, and what it takes to become an architect. So about me, I've wanted to be an architect since I was sort of 8, 9 years old. I've always loved drawing. I was pretty good at maths and things like that. But also, hey, I really love playing Minecraft. I love my Lego, everything like that. It all helps. You speak to a lot of people in first year of uni that all have a lot of they all reference Minecraft weirdly. GCSEs I took that sort of mirrored those interests, and then A levels the same. So I took art, maths, and physics at A level. That was in Northampton. And then when I got my A levels, I moved to Norwich University of the Arts. I'm going to boast and say that the architecture building in Norwich is like one of the coolest uni buildings, Boardman House. So I spent 3 years there, annoyingly through COVID. So I started there in 2019. So I finished there in 2024 and then got a job as a Part 1 architectural assistant at Kirby Architecture, which is a practice based in Suffolk. You can see my team there: Sam, me, Andy, Alex, and Miles, the director. And I finished there literally in a couple of weeks. It's been a really good year, really enjoyed it, learned a lot. But in September, I'm off to do my master's at Manchester School of Architecture. So I'm looking forward to that. So I want to go through what it takes to become an architect, in this country at least. So you get your GCSEs, and then you will get your A levels or A level equivalent. Hopefully, some things that are somewhat related to the course. Although some unis they aren't too bothered as long as you have a good portfolio, or you can talk about what you want to study, the kind of thing you enjoy. So then, yeah, obviously you go and get your degree. Now, in architecture, you can do a BA in architecture, you can do a BSc, or some unis do what's called a BArch. I didn't realize how much of a difference some of these can actually include. The BA it's my kind of thing. It's a bit more artsy, a bit more creative. But if you're more of a mathsy or physicsy person, Bachelor of Science is maybe the way to go. I also didn't realize how much the course of architecture actually encompasses. Obviously, I knew I'd be learning about architecture, but I didn't really realize how much I'd be learning about architectural history, society, and even philosophy. That was actually a huge part of my course. Some of the tutors at Anyway are very philosophical, very philosophy based, but it's great, really good to learn. Then obviously you do your year out, which is what I'm just finishing up now. And you just gain a year of practical experience, which is needed to go and do your masters. You can't go and do your masters without that year. So that's what I'm doing next, obviously in Manchester. Most architecture masters are 2 years long. You can do part-time things as well, but the common route is to spend 2 years doing your masters. You then find yourself another job when you finish your masters, and during that time working at another practice or same practice, go back to the same practice if you'd like. You go through about 18 months of sort of coursework, the more business side and professional side of architecture. There are exams and things like that, chats with architects, and once you've passed all that, you can then finally call yourself an architect. So in this country, it can take anywhere between 7 and 10 years to become an architect. It's quite long, but I would argue that it's quite a fruitful career. So the next so I wanted to show you just some of the kind of the projects that I've been working on at Kirby. You'll find this. So the one I work at is obviously quite a small practice, only 4 or 5 of us. If you go to a big London practice, the kind of projects you work on will be very different. But so we do a range of scale of projects still. So as you can see in the top left, the smallest kind of thing we do is like a garage conversion. You can see we did just converted a garage, and that's a Photoshop render where we gave them a second living room in place of their garage. That's the very smallest thing we do. Don't do any smaller than that. Then in the bottom left, you can see like the next stage up. So this is where we do extensions. And then here we have a side extension on a farmhouse out in Suffolk. Again, that's a Photoshop render. It's currently being constructed. And then the next scale up is kind of one-off houses for like special clients. So that this here, hopefully you can see my mouse, is a massive house in Northamptonshire, where I'm from. Like 8-9 bedrooms, swimming pool, like hundreds of square meters. Awesome project to work on. And then the next scale up is our largest scale. So that's master planning. And so in the bottom right, you can see a housing development in Oxfordshire that we're currently working on. That's what it will look somewhat like. We're still getting lots of comments back from the council and people that live around the area. But yeah, so that's in the works at the moment. So big range of scale. It's been great fun. So today, obviously, I'm here to give you like the basics of architectural drawing, but I'm also here to answer questions. We'll have a few tasks. Nothing serious. We can like keep it pretty chill. But yeah. So I'm also going to be kind of heavily referencing this book here. I've got it with me here as well. 101 Things I Learned in Architecture School. It just covers the like absolute basics of the kind of thing you need when you start architecture, and what you need throughout studying it. It's on was for me at the time on the Norwich University of the Arts reading list. I thought, yeah, I'll pick that up. And actually, it's been really helpful, just the absolute basics. But talking of the reading list, these are 3 others. I think the links will be provided for you guys that were on the reading list. The first 2 you can see on the left aren't necessarily strictly about architecture, but they reference a lot of ideas that become important when you study architecture. Ways of seeing is how about how we view art and how we talk about art. And so still it does reference architecture a little bit as well. Great book. And then Invisible Cities in the middle. That's maybe one of my favorite books of all time. It's a fiction book, but it's just about cities and spaces, and it's kind of magical. But it just gives you a new way to think about cities and architecture and places, and it's amazing. And then the third, a bit of a heavier read, but more strictly about architecture. It's about how an individual interacts with spaces and how we interact with homes and how things are sized and why they're sized that way. Another great read. But these 3 books and the first one I showed you, you'll find on a lot of reading lists for your part 1 at uni. So yeah, I've got 2 really like basic rules for today when we do our tasks, and they seem so so simple. But yeah, only 2 rules. There are loads of other rules when studying architecture, but these are the 2 I'm giving today. But also, once you know your rules, you obviously know how to break them. But I'll go through these 2. So the first one, literally drawing a line. Hopefully, I'm gonna show you these 2 images. I want you to kind of distinguish the differences between them. As an architect, you are going to be drawing for other architects. You're going to be drawing for clients. You're going to be drawing for contractors, engineers, everything. And you've got to be confident with your drawing. So basically, you need lines to cross. They need to be straight. You need to be confident, because otherwise you end up with what we call like hairy lines, and it just doesn't look confident, and it doesn't. Your drawings don't become legible because of it. So it's always beneficial to have strong, confident lines. And they will portray your ideas much more successfully. But you guys can hopefully utilize that rule once we start your tasks. The second is about line hierarchy. So the significance of different lines in your drawings. So when you're drawing like a floor plan or blueprints for the engineer or whatever, some lines that you draw are obviously going to be more important. Where the walls are is obviously going to be more important than where you put a toaster in a kitchen. So the way we show that on a drawing is just through line thicknesses. So you can see here, that's a floor plan and a room elevation. All the lines there are the same width, and it makes the drawing lack depth, and everything looks very plain 2D. Obviously they are 2D drawings, but everything looks quite flat. And as soon as you make the one change of changing line thicknesses, suddenly you gain a bit of depth. The drawing becomes more legible. People can understand it more as a 3D space, even though it's just a 2D drawing. So that's the other thing, line hierarchy. So they're your 2 rules for today: how to draw a line and line hierarchy. So I want to go through the 4 main types of architectural drawings. Some tutors at uni will say there are many more. Some will say there are actually just 3. But for today, I'm gonna tell you guys that there are 4 main types of architectural drawings.
Kian, just before we get onto that,
Yes.
if I could just jump in,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
got
Go for it.
we've got some 2, I think, really good questions. I won't obviously we won't jump in and do this all the time.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
But do you think architecture is done mostly digital now, or is it still
Yeah.
mostly hand-drawn work?
I would say that it is in the professional world. It now is mostly digital. But that doesn't mean to say that clients and other architects really value an architect that can hand draw. So no matter how good your digital work is, an architect that can hand draw and quickly sketch up an idea for a client on a bit of the classic napkin story, like that's always going to be impressive. So I think it's always important to know how to hand draw. Yeah, for sure.
Bro, yeah, absolutely. Um, and sorry, Mana. Yes, we will do. You'll get sent for this stuff. Yeah, thanks, Otti, for that question. Lastly, Jude. So and then we'll get back onto to the
Cool.
to your to your session. Do
Mhm.
you have to draw lines freehand, or can you use a ruler for your drawing
If you
projects?
today in your task, you can do it exactly as you wish. I would encourage you to do it freehand though, because like I say, this is so chill. And actually, after a while of practicing, your straight lines become really straight when you're hand drawing. Just like I say, that confidence really helps. If you tell yourself, "I'm drawing a straight line here," it just happens. Yeah, but do it how you want to do it. It's all up to you guys.
Yeah, you'll be sharing your work as well throughout the session, and we'll talk a little bit about the Padlet board later on for anyone
Yeah,
that's
for
new.
sure.
For us, cool. So thanks, Lucky. Any other questions? Like I said before, I am making a note of them. I'm not ignoring them, and we'll when there's a good part of the session, or we'll wait till the end. So yeah, we'll make sure your questions are answered. Yeah, cheers, Kim. Thanks.
Cool. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So, like I say, 4 main types of architectural drawing.
I just need to
Um,
share your screen again, Kim.
oh yeah, yeah. One sec. Yeah, 4 main types. Yeah, like I say, some will say there are many more. Some will say there are only 3. For the sake of today, there are 4. Your first is the plan. Some of you guys might know what a floor plan is. You've probably all seen one before, maybe without realizing it. Even when you're looking at like fire escapes on a building or something, usually you're looking at a floor plan. But a floor plan is simply a 2D bird's eye view of a building. You obviously, for a building with multiple stories, you'll have a ground floor plan, a first floor plan, second floor, and even a roof plan. But yeah, a 2D bird's eye view down at a building. You guys don't need to know this really, but usually a plan is taken at about 1.2 meters above ground level, and it's like you're taking a slice through that 1.2 meter level. So you'll see walls, you'll see where the windows are going to be, you'll see furniture. Arguably the most important type of architectural drawing. And then these. Oh, it's not flicking to the next page. There we go. So these are just some examples of plans. The bottom left is actually a floor plan that we've drawn up at work for that massive house I was talking about. Obviously, that's using CAD. That's not hand drawn. Top left is a more detailed, a bit prettier floor plan. I'm not expecting any of those today, guys. Don't worry. And then the 3 on the right, kind of what I'd maybe hope to be seeing today. Obviously, this is quite a beautiful plan, even though it's still sketchy. But you can see in all of the hand-drawn ones, they have been confident with their lines, and the parts of the drawing that really matter are the thickest. Like if you look at this top right one, the walls are thick. We've given the walls some thickness, and that's important. And you see the hangers in the cupboards and the bed and the carpet are not as thick. So it makes the drawing a lot easier to read. The bottom right is the kind of plan we draw at work when we're quickly going and surveying a building. We put measurements and things in there, super sketchy looking, but that's literally if that's what we end up with drawing today, that's so fine. It shows that you understand what a floor plan is and why we use it. So the next type of drawing I'm going to talk about is the section. So a section, you have to imagine a building like a cake, and you're taking a slice straight through the middle of the cake, and you're looking in 2D at that slice. So with this, you'll see the heights of floors, you'll see stairways, you get a good understanding of the internal spaces and the volumes through a section. So these are just some examples of sections, obviously some more detailed than others. Like the top left, there's a bit of investigation into how light is entering the building. Bottom left, bit more simple, but still they're really good at showing the kind of volumes in a building. And again, what's really important is, especially shown in this top right one, the real thick lines are showing where we're cutting through. They're showing the floors and ceilings, and then the finer lines are things like lights and chairs and things like that. Yeah, so that's the section. And then the next type I want to talk about is the elevation. So again, another 2D drawing, but instead of taking a slice through a building or looking down at a building, we're now pretending that we're stood next to a building and looking at that building in front of us, but completely two-dimensional. There's no depth to it. We're not drawing lines that disappear off into the distance. It's all very 2D. And we use these a lot to show, again, heights and things like that, but also the materials that we're putting on the outside of a building. We'll often show lots of options for clients of elevations of the building with different materials drawn or different window types, perhaps. But yeah, so elevations are used to show what's going on the exterior of a building. And then again, some examples, super sketchy ones, real simple ones. The bottom right is the kind of elevation we do at work. Again, really simple, but all the information that is needed is there. And you can see all the line hierarchy again in some of these, and how important it is to be confident and really, we're confident with your lines. And then finally, we're talking 3D. Now, there are many types of 3D drawings. You've got all your perspective drawings or oblique, isometric, axonometric. There's loads of types. You will learn about all of those when you go to uni. Maybe you already know about them now. But yeah, loads of types of 3D drawings. But what they're really good at showing is just how a space feels that sometimes a 2D just can't quite capture. A lot of the time we'll be in a meeting with clients where we show them the plans, the elevations and the sections, and they're kind of, nodding along. And then we go to our 3D drawings or our renders, and suddenly their face lights up and they actually understand what the building feels like. And it makes sense because some of you might agree, some of these drawings they're showing the building the best, perhaps. But yeah, so they're your main types of drawing. So I guess that takes us into our first task. Really simply, I want you to spend 5 minutes drawing a plan of the room you're in. So bird's eye view, down at the room you're in. Things like the walls should obviously be your thickest, most obvious lines. But take time to draw the furniture that's around you as well. It doesn't have to be too big, this, by the way. And yeah, so 5 minutes doing that, and I'll flick back to the plan page as well, just so you can see. But yeah, 5 minutes drawing a plan of your room. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask. There we are, Jason. Can you still see? You can't still see that screen, can you?
No, but I can see it myself.
Okay.
No, it's fine. So I'm going to take this opportunity to show you Padlet board. So whilst you're working on this 5-minute line drawing of your room, I'm just going to show my screen. So you should be able to see that green screen now. So for those of you that this one's your first week, this might be the first time that you're seeing the Padlet board. After every task, what we'll do is we'll ask you to share your drawings to Padlet. Now, there's lots of different ways you can do that. Now, most of you will be using a pen and paper. So you can take, so you want to take a photo of that, and then you can upload that onto your Padlet board. You can do that via your phone fairly simply, and we'll be dropping the Padlet board, if she hasn't done so already. I can't see the chat right now, but the Padlet board link into the chat. Now you can either right click if you're on a laptop, you can either you can either double click. So you just need to double click on your mouse, and this screen will open up. And then you can either upload a photo, you can upload a file, just like how Em's kind of uploaded one already. So you can either double click with your mouse, or you can go to the plus button, and if you click that, the same little kind of pop up opens up. You can also write some stuff in there as well. So you might want to give us a little bit of context about your designs. We also encourage people to engage in other people's work as well. So you can press the little love heart and give some love to some people's drawings. You can also comment as well. So there might be one that really stands out to you, and you might want to give them a little comment about their work, which is also really, really lovely. So yes, I can see some people on that Padlet board already. And you can do that through your iPad, your phone, or your computer laptop. Okay, oh, you've done it already. Cool.
Yeah, I would include whatever's around you. A lot of really interesting plans to look at are the ones that people draw quite personally. So maybe like right now I have a Coke can as well next to me. Like if you want to add all the little details around you from a 2D top view, it makes your drawing more interesting. So yeah, whatever's around you right now, feel free to draw it. And yeah, use whatever. I mean, Em's already said, but use whatever materials you have: pen, pencil, marker. Yeah. Feel free to add plans whenever you're able to. Because Jason, it stays open for a little while.
Yeah. So the Padlet board you can still add stuff later on. You can also, I will explain this later, but you can send us your work as well, later on. You can email it to us, but we'll give all that information at the end so it doesn't get too confusing. Sky has asked, what if some furniture is layered? I have a closet that is on top of shelves and boxes, but underneath there's clothes. So in terms of kind of like distance, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So that's why I mentioned that little bit about cutting through at usually about 1.2 meters. So you have to imagine you're making that slice at it'll be about like waist height for me at least. And that's where you draw. So everything below that you're drawing. If there's stuff above that, you don't see it in a plan. But feel free to draw stuff on top of other things. Like if you do have a small table with a book on top of it, draw the table and then draw the book on top of it. Draw the mug that's next to it. Draw whatever. It's just about making the room legible. If you feel like there's something that does need to be drawn that goes above that, then go for it. It's about what makes the drawing most easy to read.
Cool. So we'll probably give everyone maybe 2 more minutes. It's a really short task.
Yeah.
Whilst we're doing that, I thought I could ask a question, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So do you have to be confident with complicated perspectives, or is it more focused on line work?
I mean, I suppose with the more complicated things, I would always say you have to be confident with your drawings, but yeah, you've got to be like more delicate with a 3D or perspective drawing, I suppose. But yeah, always be confident with your drawings because I feel like you can look at a drawing and you can tell when someone's been confident with it. Their lines, they've been direct with them, and they're not too light on the page. And the best drawings stand out, and they stand out for a reason. Yeah, you can add labels. like if you want to label, this is my desk or this is the door, go for it. Yeah. Oh, cool. I'm seeing some plans. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. Everyone's being confident with their lines. Jason, am I okay to share screen and have a look at some of those?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Go for it.
I think some of them are like anonymous, so I won't be able to name names, but like this here that's brilliant because you've got these thick outer walls. You can see the furniture in finer lines. You see the doorways. Yeah, brilliant. Really well done. Again, and this like great because the lines are confident. Yeah, it's great. And actually, I answered the question that you could label things, but obviously these have been labeled. But the drawings is so it tells me everything I need to know without the labels, to be honest. And I can see that you're sat there. Hello. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, really good. Someone's got the markers out. I love it. Yeah, really awesome. Cool. Am I okay to go on to the next task?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously, if people are finishing up their designs, please
Yeah.
do, and then
Yeah.
add
Yeah.
that as we move on to the second task.
Yeah.
But this really is a really short task, so we're going to move on to task 2, I think.
Cool. So, if you haven't guessed already, the next task is to now draw a section through the room you're in. Don't worry if you're still drawing your plans and stuff, guys. No pressure at all. So I'll go back to section. So remember, this is the slice through your building. You're going to see heights of things. You're going to see the furniture that's been cut through. You can pick where you cut through the room. Maybe there's a messy desk that you don't want to include in the drawing. But yeah, this time we're looking at it like a slice of cake through your room. But while you do that, I'm going to carry on looking at some of the plans and stuff. Again, this section task is like yeah, pretty quick, just real simple drawings. Yeah, that's great. It's really good. Ah, cool. Even some shade from the window. Yeah, really good. So all of these, it seems like all of these show that you all have a pretty good understanding of how a plan works, what it's meant to be showing. I feel like all of these would do a good job at showing a client that you understand their space, their room, their house. Yeah, I really like the ones where you guys have like rendered in the floor or where the shade in the room is. Right, I'll go back so you can see the sections again. So yeah, just a few minutes working on a section now.
Yeah, if you keep the slide up of the slices, just it's a nice example for people to reference.
Yeah. Again, maybe you guys have noticed as well in this one that the ones that are most successful here also do show a bit of where the light in the room is. If you want to experiment with that, go for it too, where the light from your window is coming in, at what angle. Obviously, that changes through the day, and sometimes that's why we design buildings a certain way. But yeah, feel free to draw what you wish.
I think if we give people maybe 10 minutes to do this task,
Yeah, cool.
or just under 10 minutes. So we'll give everyone until 10:45.
Awesome.
So that's 9 minutes to do this. Slightly more detailed task than task 1.
Yeah.
If anyone did have any questions, whilst for clarification of anything, please do write in the chat. I'm busy trying to like all your task 1 images. If I miss anyone, it's not personal. Yeah. I've got another question for you, if
Yeah,
that's all
go
right.
for it.
Kind of, I feel like this question comes up in most workshops now, but basically the use of AI.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, kind of how much has AI improved work? How much is it? Yeah,
Well,
what do you think about what first of all, what do you think about the use of AI in architectural designs? So we'll start with that. We'll start with that and then move on to kind of how do you use AI?
uh-huh. So I'm actually you've kind of asked the wrong person because I'm very anti AI
Okay,
basically.
that's good to know.
I think well at the stage it's at the moment it lacks any of the sort of critical thinking and really what you need to design successfully. It lacks that at the stage it's at the moment anyway. Um, where obviously AI and ChatGPT and stuff it became popular while just as I was in my second third year, and you could instantly tell the students that had come in and they'd just they'd ask whatever uh, AI, oh, make me this render for tomorrow. And yeah, like I said, at the stage it's at now, it's so quick to tell. Even with your essays, so quick to tell. It uses the same
Yeah,
phrases. It uses that classic M dash whatever. Um, but the thing about AI that I'm not too against is a little bit when it comes to your essay writing. If you have a if you've got a really solid foundation, like an idea for your essay, but you just don't quite know how to go about wording it, or maybe you need one more reference and you just don't know where to find it, then I think you can employ AI a little bit. It obviously really helps with people that like are dyslexic or whatever. Like it's going to format your writing in a way that is more legible. So yeah, I think there are pros and cons to it for sure.
yeah. So more of a support, yeah, more of a support tool.
100%,
Um,
100%. Don't let it be like, don't let it make your ideas for you. Let it support your ideas.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's I'm glad, yeah, thank you for that. It's a nice perspective. It's from, that's a perspective from somebody who is working in the architectural field right now.
Yeah,
I think so many prospective students are quite nervous, or reluctant about future jobs. So I
yeah,
think that's a really, hopefully that's a provides people with a bit of positivity about
yeah,
kind of designers in the future.
yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that.
That's all right. Yeah, I would just say like we have had clients come in and they themselves they've asked an AI to give them an idea for the house, and they say, look, is this the kind of thing that we could end up with in the future? And they'll show us a render or something, and we can pick holes in it and say, no, this just you cannot do that. This isn't how it works. But obviously, again, it can be the starting point for a client. But yeah, it is interesting to see where it'll all go. But maybe I'm biased, but I don't think architecture is at risk at the moment, just because it it lacks that like personality and real like design touch that is needed in architecture.
Yeah. And also, the architecture, so the designer client relationship is so important when it comes to designing.
Yeah, 100%,
And
100%.
AI is not going to be able at the moment
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
can't have that relationship.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Nice one. Okay, everyone. So we're going to give you about 4 minutes for the. Do you call this the cut through the slice? What do you call this
Section.
section?
Yeah,
I'm just thinking cake.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it too
Maybe I
early?
shouldn't
Is
have
it
used
too
that
early for a
analogy.
slice of cake? I don't know. Never too early.
Yeah,
Um,
bonus points if someone puts a cherry on top, I guess.
yeah. How can you include cake-like features into your designs?
I'm just gonna have a look. So, do the most recent ones come to the top on here?
At the bottom.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, really good. It's great how easy it is to understand someone's room when they just really simple 2D drawings. That's okay. You don't need to rotate. That's fine. Yeah, awesome. Well, it's a great plan from earlier, by the way. That's really nice. Yeah.
Sorry, we should have said there's nothing wrong with using, I think Susan, you're using like
Oh yeah,
digital.
yeah.
That's
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
fine as well, isn't it? Okay.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I would say probably a quarter of the students on my course were a lot of like they would come in with their iPads rather than sketchbook, and it's yeah, just the same. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, awesome.
The cherry,
Cherry on top, so
10
good.
out of 10.
Yeah, smashing it. This this is really good. This is um yeah, that's like how we draw a section. That is it's 2D. I can see where the wall's been cut through. I can see where the window is, the light coming through. That's a really successful section. Yeah, well done. Yeah, again, same with this. That's really, really good. So all of the drawings you do now, the question came up earlier about like whether you do digital or hand drawn more. So obviously we do a lot of digital versions of these, but it's so important to be able to go to a site visit or whatever and quickly be able to sketch these up. Even if you do end up drawing them on CAD later on, it's so important to have the skills and the understanding. Yeah, these are really, really good. Okay, back to that.
Cool. So yeah, thanks so much. I can see lots and lots of uploads now. Yeah, I think we're good to move on.
Cool. Are we okay to jump right into another task? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So if you hadn't guessed, so we've done plan, we've done section. So next was elevation. Um, so I want you to draw an elevation of the building you're in. This so that you again you pretend you're stood outside of wherever you are right now, and you're drawing a 2D view of what's in front of you. So this will show like the materials on the exterior of the building you're in. It will show what the windows look like. It will show what kind of roof. But just remember, it's two-dimensional. So yeah, that's the task. I was wondering if also I could like go through any like my portfolio or like my company's website while we do that one, or would you think it's better to leave them to it? And
Yeah, no, absolutely. Can you just repeat that task again?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
for
so,
sure.
just so,
Wait,
and
I
then
am sharing, right?
no, yes, you are now. Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool. Uh, So yeah, this is drawing an elevation of the building you're in. So two-dimensional, stood outside, looking at the faces of the building. Usually there'll be four, maybe it's more. And yeah, two-dimensional material, show the materials on the exterior of your building, show what the windows look like, the roof type, and yeah, and then the examples will look, something like this.
Oh,
Top
bro.
left, very simple. Feel free to like show some shade. A lot of the time we forget that also that when we look at windows, when we're out on the street, actually a lot of the time we can't see in because of the way the light hits them. So windows actually look more successful sometimes shaded in like they are in the images on the left, or show reflection on them. just to show a bit of understanding of the context where the building's situated.
Sanpi, I think that's, sorry if I've said your name wrong, Sanpi. So can we look at Google Maps or a photo, or should we go
Yeah.
off?
Oh my God. Yeah. You use whatever. Yeah. Or I don't know what the building you're in is. You use your imagination, and it could be
Yeah,
it could be a skyscraper you're in. I don't know.
absolutely. Okay, cool. So yeah, we'll probably give everyone to about 11 o'clock to
Okay.
do that. So please don't feel like it's rushed. Take your time with it. There might be that I like the 4 different ways of designing. What would you say is your style of?
I'm super like sketchy. So sometimes, a lot of the time, so I'm a part 1 at the moment. A lot of the time, at most practices, part 1s won't be given too much freedom when it comes to design. That like they'll do all the CAD drawing or something like that. But because of the practice size that I'm at, I do get freedom every now and then. So I'll be given the task of coming up with options for a house layout or whatever, and I start really sketchy where I want certain rooms to be and things like that, and slowly progress, and my drawings become more like some of the ones you see here, more like rigid.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, or I much prefer to design by hand, for sure.
Nice. Do you have that? Do you, obviously you are, yes, you're part 1, you're in the start of your journey. Well, not even the start really, kind of
No,
middling the journey of
yeah.
the architecture. Is there freedom as designers? Is there a freedom to work to your style, or is that based on the company, who you work for?
Uh, I could try and sell you the dream that no matter where you end up, you'll have freedom. But yeah, I think you're right. It really depends on where you end up working. But some people like really like the idea of having a set like rule set. So that's the company they end up in. Some people obviously like to write their own rules. And they'll be the people that go and set up their own practices and be really successful, finding their own clients and things like that. So it's whatever you want, you can pursue for sure.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, actually, it's a nice little segue. As people are working on their elevations,
Hmm.
yeah, if you could show us your portfolio, that'd be great.
Hmm.
Kian's portfolio also will be linked into the worksheet that we send out later. So you will have access to looking at his portfolio. And this is really good for people who are thinking about going into architecture or even interior design. So we also have an interior design course here at Norwich University of the Arts. It's more interior architecture, so very closely similar to the stuff that we're doing today. And this is kind of good to start thinking about. Although, is this portfolio your professional portfolio?
So this is what I used to get into my master's course.
Nice, cool. So this will be slightly, this is a step ahead of most people who would be applying for an undergraduate course, so the
Yeah.
BA in architecture. But it's great to kind of see kind of where everyone else could be at in 3 or 4 years' time.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So like I say, this is the portfolio that I used to apply to Manchester, Edinburgh, Sheffield. I've gone with Manchester. So here we are. I've obviously got the contents and things like that. And a lot of the time, you guys probably know this, but in your portfolios, you're encouraged to put your strongest work, your most recent work at the top, at the front. It's obviously the first thing they're going to see. So I put my first project as what I call Cross Paths. It was my 3rd year final project, project about walking through East Anglia. It was a collage of some of the things I saw, some of the pictures I took, little caption for it, and I made a short film of my walk. I walked like 70 kilometers through East Anglia, and I was going to propose little stations for hikers to occupy while they're on their hikes. A few other drawings. I also became pretty like obsessed with the lighthouses that I saw on my walk. So there are a few drawings and collages of those. And there's me and all the stuff I took with me in my route through East Anglia. And then these plans in the middle, some floor plans of the Airbnb I stayed in midway through my walk. But these were just kind of some of the spaces that I felt like I occupied on my walk. A 3D plan and then another 3D. I was trying to pretend that this was me walking through some of the tree spaces that I was in. And then I did, so this is one of the 3D type drawings I was talking about earlier. It's called an axonometric. This is like an exploded drawing, and it's just me investigating some of the spaces again that I went through on my walk. And then another blown up axo of the Airbnb I stayed in, some other photos I took for materials and things like that. And then again, another exploded axo. And then this is a section which you guys have just been drawing through a barn I saw on my walk that I was going to propose like a like little pods for hikers to stay in, and then some plans of what that barn could look like, and a cut through, like this is a more technical section showing the materials of that barn. So that was that project, and then here's my second year final project. So this was in Feltham in London, sort of next to a listed cathedral. This is a big site plan of the area, and I wanted to propose like a horticultural centre because there wasn't enough green space in the area, nowhere for people to plant or garden. Little model I made of what the building could look like, or what the interior could look like. Some sections through my proposal, some watercolor elevations of my proposal, and a little internal render. And then here's just some work that I did pre-university that I thought would be interesting to show. Like I said, I was really into my drawing, so that was the school I went to. These were some structures inspired by Antoni Gaudi, who's an architect you might know. He did Sagrada Familia, and some watercolors and ink drawings I did. Some still life bits, some portraiture, and this is like my favorite painting, the whole thing, despite it being a painting of a toilet. But just showing everything that you can do, you are good at. It's all important to include in your portfolio, especially at the stage you guys are at. And then I also just showed what we're up to at Kirby Architecture, some plans and renders and things like that. Some of these you guys have seen. But yeah, that's my portfolio that I'm now going to Manchester with as well. I'll go back to.
That's cool. I think yeah, showing your design skills, so showing you as an artist is, I think, probably the top tip for students thinking about admissions portfolio for university for undergrad. Also, kind of, I like the glasses because you're showing perspective, and you're showing and you're showing that you understand 3D shape.
Yeah.
Also, the Gaudi structures. You're showing that you understand about space and structure. I think that's super key. Then not just, oh, I can draw a house, or I can design a layout of a room. I think it's kind of going back a step, isn't it? I do have a good question just while people are working on their elevations. So do you have any tips on how to improve drawing things in scale?
God, it sounds so cliche, but practice. And obviously you can get like technical tools needed as well, like your scale rules and things like that. But also just what I find helps is to say I'm going to draw an elevation of a building. Quickly sketch yourself, like you can see here in the bottom left. Just quickly sketch yourself some little people and build the scale from that, because architecture is all about how a person interacts with the space. So why not start with them? And obviously the average human's going to be somewhere between 1.5 and 2 meters probably. I'm sorry if I've left you out of your short or very tall. But yeah, start with the person and build from there. Because that's what architecture is all about anyway. It's how the person interacts with space.
Yeah, and again for interior design as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite psychological, isn't it?
100%.
And there's actually quite a lot of psychology within I know there's quite a lot of psychology within the course structure as well.
Definitely.
Just talking about the course at Norwich University of the Arts. So Josephine says, so first of all, Josephine, thanks for coming to our GradFest. So GradFest is every year for everyone that doesn't know Norwich University GradFest. So it's a showcase of all third year's work. And Josephine said a lot of project pieces at GradFest were very conceptual, whereas your portfolio does show many literal sketches and actual buildings. So is the course at Norwich University of the Arts what you make of it, or is it different for different cohorts? I
I
think
think
those things talking about.
I think any architecture school that you go to, if your ideas are strong enough, it is what you make it. But you are right to say that projects at anyway, they are more conceptual than you'll find at other unis. I think that comes down to a few things. One of them being the tutors that are there are very conceptual designers, so they will naturally encourage that kind of thing. But yeah, like I say, some of the stuff I had in mind were pretty literal 2D drawings or whatever. So all the conceptual stuff you see, that's what they've decided to show because maybe that's their most successful images. But you'll most likely see in the like their submission documents that there will also be the technical, more maybe boring looking drawings in there too. But yeah, the course anyway is definitely what you make it, and pretty conceptual. But yeah.
Oh, nice one. So I'm just frantically writing some questions down. Some really good questions in the chat. Thank you so much. I will come to them. If we don't come to them straight away, I have noted them, so don't worry. This was a nice one. I think we're gonna ask this one, then we'll move on.
Mhm.
Or we'll maybe look at some elevations in a second. But
Yeah.
this question is about portfolio. So
Okay.
how would you generally recommend forming a portfolio, especially if you're taking art at A level?
Okay. So the most important thing I would say is how you gather your images. So hopefully you've got like, I don't know, paintings or drawings, whatever. I would always encourage you to scan and get the most high definition images you can. Because you can tell if someone's just taken a picture on their phone or whatever. And then you gather, like I say, your most successful, or maybe sort them into projects, and make yourself a little contents page or whatever, like I had. But put your most successful scans at the top, and don't feel like you have to write an essay next to each thing. Just a little caption, just to say what's going on, why you did it, for each drawing or painting, and also feel free to like group things that work well cohesively on a page together. Because then actually you have a really successful portfolio if you're already showing how you understand a nice page should be laid out. But what's also really important with portfolios is that they're personal, because how you set up, how you present, how you arrange images says a lot about you as a designer, says a lot about you as an artist. So yeah, I look at lots of precedent portfolios, but also try and be true to who you are as a designer or an artist or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We talk a lot about branding,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how you showcasing your portfolio is your brand.
Yeah.
Um, and it's simple things like picking a color scheme, making sure that color
Hmm.
scheme's constant throughout,
Yeah.
that particular font type,
Yeah.
um, positioning of photos and positioning of things are all really, really important, aren't they?
Yeah.
In terms of showcasing your brand,
Definitely.
as well as just showing your art skills.
Hmm.
We talked about a lot about structure. If you can, if you can have 2D and 3D design, that's probably the top tip, isn't it? We
Yeah.
need 2D, 3D design. We need to know that you can kind of draw in 2D. And that's the same if somebody's coming from like a graphic design route and they show it via a digital form rather than
Yeah.
drawing, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How are we all doing? So do you want to kind of share the Padlet board again and give some feedback?
Oh, these. Yeah. Cool. So still looking at some sections. Here are the elevations. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, like this. Perfect view of the front of the building. 2D. I can see the brickwork. I can see the windows. Really good. Someone's in a castle today. Welcome from the castle. Awesome. Yeah, this is fantastic. Really, really good. I like the different markers to show you different materials and things. It's always adding the trees and stuff are really important because it gives you like your site context. Yeah, this is really awesome. Cute house. I like it. Yeah, these are really, really good. Yeah, awesome. Am I all good to move on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Hang on, let me just. Okay, so you now have three 2D drawings of an existing building or an existing room. But as architects, obviously, we come up with new ideas, or we work with clients with what they want to do next, and we create design proposals. At Kirby, we come up with lots of options, and clients pick the best part from each. But some companies will like design one option for you, and you go with it. Obviously, you work with them, and they give comments and things like that. But yeah, you get a range of different ways to work through design proposals with clients. But the kind of thing we might do is these sketchy conceptual drawings of spaces, which is kind of how I start planning out a floor plan or whatever. And you can see on the right, obviously the rooms aren't actually going to be oval shaped, but you can see the kind of spaces and how they would all link up. So it's a kind of really loose floor plan. You've got like at the bottom a gathering space, and then here you've got a resting space, and they overlap a little bit. But to think about where the doors and windows are going to go isn't important yet. And they've labeled this open flow and a plaza up here and bike space. Obviously, none of this is to scale, but it's just showing what spaces they want where and how they want them to overlap. And the same here, obviously, a bit more rigid, different way to show it. Here, more sketchy, more artistic version, which I really like. A lot of the time in commercial buildings, you have to try and separate like private and commercial space, and they're showing that here. And they've up here we've got it in section. Here a 3D view. So I want you guys to now, with one of your 2D drawings, feel free to either go over it or redraw quickly one of your drawings, but come up with a new proposal for something that's like in your room or next to your room or next to your building. And it can be crazy. It could be a swimming pool, it could be a trampoline park or whatever. Just add this on to the side of either your plan section or elevation, or feel free to redraw. But it's just about coming up with a new space and a new program for that space. Is that how long will they need for this, do you think?
Yeah, what do you think? So it's 5 past 11.
Yeah.
So we've got 25 minutes. So maybe if we give them 15 minutes,
Cool.
10, 15
Cool.
minutes, time
Yeah.
flies. And then just so we've got a little bit of time at the end, we've got a few more questions
Awesome.
as well. So I know everyone's getting busy with their extensions. But if you did have any burning questions, start putting them into the chat. I will note them down, and then we'll have some time at the end for some question and answers. Oh, that's a really, really good question, Sky. So Sky has asked, are there alternative ways people with disabilities who may struggle with a lot of this hand-drawn work, be it what can they do in terms of if they want to get into the architecture field?
Okay. Well, firstly, I'm guessing I'm pretty naive to this, and I need to research this myself too. But I'm sure there are first of all tools that help with hand drawn stuff. If not, this is where digital work becomes so important, and is one of the biggest pros to working digitally. Is that it's easier for people with disabilities to work and to communicate their ideas. And while it's still probably difficult, a lot of practices are really trying to up their how accessible they are, and how people from all sorts of different backgrounds and whatever can join their practices and things like that. There'll always be a space.
Yeah, nice. And Sky, yeah, we are going through these tasks quite quickly. So well done for keeping up.
Yeah,
You're doing
definitely.
great work, and I've seen a lot of your work already. But do take your time. If anyone just wanted to kind of watch, and then you can also like watch the screen, watch key and present, but you can also watch and look at other people's work and then do this later. We are recording this session, and the session it will be uploaded onto YouTube. You'll get sent the YouTube link. We also, in the next week or two, will be sending out the worksheet that goes along with this workshop. So yeah, you can do this in your own time. So please don't feel like it. I mean, we are going through this quite quickly. We only have an hour and a half. But yeah, take it in your own time. Do as many tasks as you like today. Don't feel like,
Yeah, I got
um, yeah. So yeah, please don't apologize at all. Like, yeah. So can you quickly run through the current task again?
yes, yeah. So we're looking at one of the. I'll go back to. We're looking at one of the plans or something that you like. You can look at one of the plans you drew earlier. You can look at one of the sections you drew earlier, or one of the elevations. Um, and then what we're doing is coming up with an addition to that plan section or elevation, and just drawing that next to it or on top of it. And that addition can include anything you like. It could just be an extension like an office next to your room now, or it could be, like I said earlier, swimming pool, water park, massive party room, whatever, just to show that like you can have your plan, but you can also draw additions to your plan or section or elevation. Yeah.
Could you show the examples again?
Oh, sorry, I thought I was sharing then. Um, so obviously you've got your plans like this, sections like this, elevations like this, and then you're just coming up with a sort of sketchy addition to your plan, or if you want to draw it more definitively, go for it as well. Yeah, just with your crazy addition to where you are right now. Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
Always makes me laugh when I do that. Yeah, if you could keep up the examples on the screen, that'd be amazing. Just so when people are working, they have something to reference.
There were a couple recent questions because I can't see them while I present this. Are you all right to just?
Yeah, absolutely, of course, yeah. Oh, it's not there yet.
Oh, hang on. There we are.
Amazing.
Can you see it
Thank
now?
you. Yes, yeah, bro. So it's a nice, interesting question from Rachel. I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, but
Okay.
tell us your thoughts. So, how would you say the path to becoming a landscape architect is different than that of being an architect like yourself?
We're different. In fact, I've probably done everything so far that a landscape architect might do also. This might be where paths diverge, because I know that while I was looking for master's courses, there were actually master's courses for landscape architects. But don't quote me on this. I think you can also find the undergrad degree in more specific landscape architecture. But yeah, feel free to I would, the stage you guys are in at before uni is do loads of research into all the different types of course, all the different unis in this country, worldwide, and just really work out what it is you want to be doing, what you're good at. But yeah, and if you don't know, that's also fine. I almost still don't know. That's why I've done architecture, and I'm moving on to just a master of architecture. And through the projects you do, you find out what kind of thing you like and what you would specialize in the future.
Nice, yeah, absolutely. There's lots of online platforms, not just UCAS. So many schools use a thing called Unifrog. That's always a really good thing to kind of research as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Thanks for that. Do you need maths to study architecture?
No, you do not. I was under the assumption before uni that I would, hence why I took it as an A level. Some unis will require maths. Some will require a pretty high grade in maths. Norwich University of the Arts does not require maths, and plenty of unis do not. I feel like Norwich is one of those unis where some grades are obviously needed, but your portfolio sings louder than your grades, or how you present yourself in an interview or something sings louder than your grades. But yeah, it depends on the uni you go to.
Yeah. So the entry requirements for our course, for the architecture course is 120 UCAS points. So that works out as three Bs if you're doing A levels. For example. Oh, Alex, I've just seen your work. Fantastic.
Mm,
We'll come on to that in a second. Sorry, it just popped
cool.
up. So it's so it's 120 UCAS points. Um, and then the portfolio submission. If you are thinking about doing the interior design course, that's 104 UCAS points. Just so you know that our architecture course is also ARB recognized, so you'll get your part one. And with the architecture course, all of that information can be seen on our courses website, on our course pages on our website. And Em will probably drop the link in the chat soon. Do go off UCAS points or grades. Yeah, so it's about your grades turn into UCAS points.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why when you're talking to universities, when you're seeing entry requirements on universities' pages, it will always have the UCAS points. So yeah, just for us, it's 120. That's going to be different for different universities.
I would
Yeah.
I would also say that the requirements when I joined anyway were also BBB, but I didn't get that. I got BBD. So I would still apply if you feel like you found a uni that's for you. I would still apply no matter what.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. There's also an opportunity. I don't guess you didn't do these, but there is the
Yeah.
opportunities foundation course. The first is we call it the integrated foundation year. Um, that's the students come up to do that. The university might also look at your portfolio and go, there's loads of potential here. We're going to offer you the 4-year program, and that first year, the integrated foundation year is a slightly slower year. Kind of gives you the opportunity to really develop your skills in drawing.
Yeah.
So there's lots of that information as well.
In fact, some of the people that joined my course that had done their foundation, they came in as some of the most successful first years because they'd had a year building their skills really well. Yeah.
Yeah, and just I did reference A levels before, but obviously we also recognise T levels and B techs as well.
Yeah.
So it's not just A levels. But yeah, it's 120 UCAS points. So um, whatever that makes up in terms of whatever course you're doing. Also, as well. So students will do the qualifications as well. So yeah, just have to work whatever your qualification is, and then the UCAS. So on the UCAS website, there's a handy tool where you can put in what qualification you're doing. So if that's an A, a BTEC, an IB. We also recognise the EPQ as well within the UCAS points for our university. Not all universities do that. Cool. Okay, so we've got some additional things already. Wise Shrimp. I love these names. I'm guessing that Padlet Board make them up. But yeah, Wise Shrimp's nice, really simple but really effective. Kind of added a garage to the house.
Right, I'm gonna have a look.
Some nice work there.
Here. Oh yeah, some of these are awesome. Yeah, great. Cool. So yeah, it's cool that some of you have done it in plan, others have done elevation. This is amazing as well. This is the kind of project we do at our place, like a car garage, yeah. And we could easily sketch something like that up for a client in front of them, and it would be something like that. So that's really good. What else we got here? Patio. I'm guessing this is the addition here. Yeah, this is great. This is a great floor plan. Really, really good. Yeah, I mean, come on, look at that. Look at that. I want this house. This is what I want. Yeah, these are awesome. Really, really good.
Second time I've just done that. Okay, so we'll got a few more questions just to kind of finish off today's session. It's flown by.
Yeah.
Whilst we are whilst kind of doing a Q&A bit, please feel free to carry on
Yeah, 100%.
with your additions.
I also had,
Um,
sorry to chime in if they,
yeah, no, please do, please
I
do.
don't know if you're going to come back to it. Just there is um, like a take home task if needs be, but we can come back to that if you like.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, if we do the Q&A, then we'll do that
Cool.
just so we don't confuse people. Fab. Did you want to kind of just showcase the company you're working at first? Like, so
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment, like the company you're working for,
hmm
how long you've been working there for.
hmm
Yeah.
So I work at, let me share. So I work at Kirby Architecture. We're based in the very north point of Suffolk, out in the middle of nowhere. And I found work here as someone that used to study it anyway, came to the grad show, and I'd got on with him at uni. And we had a little chat and spoke about my work. And it actually turned out he was there because he needed to recruit a part one. So instantly I got very nervous talking about my work in front of him. But we had a chat and he invited me for an interview, and that's where it went.
Amazing.
And that's how I've spent the last year working with them. And yeah, so this is the website. There's Miles, he's my boss. Giving a little SketchUp workshop there by the looks of it. And then yes, there's a project I showed you earlier, the housing development. These are the kind of plans we draw up for clients. This is our office, really cool, really small. Yeah, like I said, only a few of us. But it's great. I really like the idea of working in a small practice as a part one, because you're forced to sort of take on quite a bit of responsibility, learn a lot of things, and be in really close contact with your boss and the part twos and clients and things like that. But I think this website will be linked for you guys as well. Just have a look through the kind of projects we do. And these are where they're mostly situated. We do have a couple international and further up north, but these are where they mostly are: East Anglia and London and Surrey and things like that. Yeah, but feel free to check this website out. And yeah.
Cool. Yeah, again, this the Kirby Architecture website link, it will be in the worksheet as well. So you can reference that too. So yeah, so a couple of questions there. Do architects need to be able to create and develop ideas really quickly?
I think in the when I'm an architect in however many years, I think I will need to. But at the stage I'm at now, there isn't a huge responsibility for me to do that. It does all just come with practice. Like my boss, Miles, he probably could come up with ideas very quickly, but it's not because he's exceptionally talented or born with some strange gift. He's just had years of practice, and that's why it takes so long to study. That's why it's you just got to practice and it will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Omar has said, so, hi Kian, I'm going into my third year this September and was just wondering on how you got to your final concepts and how you go about brainstorming for ideas without overwhelming yourself.
Yeah, wow, big question. Yeah, I mean, I probably will struggle with that exact same thing when I go and do my master's. I think that's something that every student of architecture has to come to grips with. But I think the main tip I would give you is just do work, even if you think it's rubbish. Do really loose sketches and loads of iterations, and eventually you come towards your concept. And obviously, the more sketches and the more work you have, the more you have to communicate with your tutors about. And then you get a really refined, nice final concept and plans. So just do loads of work, even if you aren't confident with it. And yeah, loads of iterations is really important.
Yeah, and just be open to the feedback, I guess, as well. So
100%.
going
Yeah.
to your tutors with ideas, and just be open to receiving lots of feedback and
Yeah.
go from there. Um, cool. As Elaine has asked, as an architect, do you just design the building or do you
hmm
actually also help in the construction process?
So one thing you learn when you go to uni, study architecture, is that we have an institution in this country called the Royal Institution of British Architects, and they have a stages of work diagram. Um, and concept and all the first little ideas of a building come from stages 0 to 2, and then stage 3 and stage 4 everything gets a bit more technical, and then it goes up to stage 7 and 8, which is the continued use of the building. But basically you will help in all of it. You do the concept sketches down at your lower stages, and then stage 4, stage 5 is all the technical stuff that you're still drawing things up while there are builders on site that need drawings done, so they know where to put stuff. You're finishing those drawings while they're on site sometimes, and you do get more involved with the technical side of it. Obviously, you're not going there on site and helping lay bricks, but you are very involved all the way through the building.
Nice,
yeah, awesome. Em's just put the link in there. Awesome.
Do you just off the back of that, do you midway through construction, if there's a change in design, does that ever happen?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
all the time.
How do you mitigate? How do you?
It depends what the change is, how big it is, and why it's happened. A lot of the time, the main changes will be, like we've drawn a design, and then on site, a builder has spoken to the client and said, actually, we could probably make this a little bit bigger, and they just do that and they make that change. We just then have to adapt the drawings to show that that's the change that's made. But it's so natural for designs to change, even at really late stages.
Yeah, so that's really common.
Yeah, for sure.
Ira said, would a foundation year be recommended to help with architecture?
If you think it's whatever you think you feel comfortable with, really. I think no matter what, by starting a degree, it is going to feel like you're jumping in the deep end for maybe a little bit, but you quickly become acclimatized to it. But if you really feel like you want to have a year just to prep yourself, then go for it. I personally didn't, and I don't regret that choice. It took a little, like I say, a couple months to adapt to uni, but actually, you quickly get comfortable. So yeah, it's so up to you. If you think you need it, go for it.
Yeah, no, I think, and also, speak with your current teachers. Reach out to us. You can send if you're not sure of whether you should do the integrated foundation year with us, you can always contact us. At the end, we're going to put some handy contact details into the chat and also on the worksheet. Please do reach out to us if you've got specific kind of admissions questions. We're always really keen to support and help with you, especially because lots of students that do architecture don't come through the architecture route. Now, you could do a level 3 in architecture at college, but most sixth formers in college don't offer that. So, students are coming from maybe a product design, from a fine art route, and actually it's quite anxious thinking about how do I create a portfolio? But you can reach out to us. We also offer portfolio clinics. You'll get an email from us about that in the autumn term about the portfolio clinics, and they're one-to-one over Zoom. That it's about 20-30 minutes, and we kind of look through your portfolio and give you support. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that, Kian.
No, nothing to add to that. No.
Cool. Lots of information for you all, though. That's why we're recording it. So please don't worry about missing anything. You can watch back. Bro, Susan said, but my college offers an A-level in architecture. Would I be expected to do that? No, not at all. It's great if you would.
Yeah.
Oh, good point, Sky. I'm gonna let answer that just because it's not architecture related, but it's a really good question. So and others might have the same question. So yeah, we'll answer that for you. Well, I think that's it. If anyone else had any other specific questions, but what we can do is so as we come to the end. So as we come to the end of today's session, as we've said previously, the Padlet board is still open. We have gone through quite a few tasks quite quickly. I'm going to hand it back over to Kean in a second. He's going to give you some homework. This could be a task that you send us as one of your outcomes. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the outcomes in a second. So yeah, what's the take-home task?
So I'll just share this. So hopefully you guys remember the 3Ds that I showed earlier. But you guys have actually just come up with a proposal, an extension or something like that. So these are 3Ds. So your take home is to produce a 3D drawing of your building. That can be an interior, it can be an exterior, it can be a really zoomed in on a certain part of your building, really zoomed out. It can be 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, whatever you like, just a 3D drawing that really shows how someone would occupy your space. And yeah, like Jason says, the paddleboard is open. So you're muted.
That's 3 times, like 3 times the charm. That's not happened in so long. That the take-home task will be on the worksheet. So look out for that. That'll be on our website, and also sent to you as well at the end. Bro, I think there's not many more questions. So last question, I think. Yeah, Alex, I'll answer that in a second about how you submit tasks, so don't worry. I'll come on to that in a second. Last question for me. What is your favorite part of your job?
Favorite part of my job is, oh, it sounds so corny, but it is just doing what I love. Like I said earlier, I've always loved drawing, and I do get to draw in my job. I do get to be creative. It can be such a creative industry, and really exciting. Yeah.
Nice, brilliant, awesome. What? Yeah, thank you, Emma, for popping the email in. So, before we finish today, we would love to get your feedback on our workshops. I'm going to launch a poll now. It's just 6 questions. Please do fill that poll in whilst I'm talking. You should see a poll that's popped up on your screen. This is just a quick snapshot of how you thought today's session went. That will really help us when we come to looking at next year's summer school. You will also get an end of series feedback form as well. And if you do the end of series feedback form, you will be in the chance of winning a £75 voucher. We will pick someone at random. Please see our terms and conditions on our summer school website page. That's for the end of summer feedback form. The poll that's just up now is just a quick snapshot of how you thought today's session was. To let everyone know that next week, our summer school workshop is animation, designing a character. Would love to see you there. There's still opportunity for you to sign up. You can just do that through our website if you haven't done so already. All our workshops are designed to give you an insight into different ideas where creativity can take you, as well as lots of the different courses that we offer here at Norwich University of the Arts. We're also offering the opportunity to receive an official Summer School 2025 certificate. We've mentioned that a little bit throughout today's session. So you need to send us at least 3 outcomes from 3 different workshops that you've attended over the 6-week period. Now, that could be one of the designs that you've done today already. It could be the take-home task, the homework that Kian's given you. That needs to be emailed to us. Now, Em has also already put the email address in. She's written, remember everyone to send your outcomes to student.recruitment@norwichuni.ac.uk. Don't just rely on adding it to the Padlet board, because obviously sometimes, as you can see, the Padlet boards, a lot of them are anonymous. So you must email your outcomes, your 3 different outcomes from 3 different workshops to our email address. Thanks, Em. So to get hold of that certificate, send us your outcomes. Please be aware that any work you submit may be used in future promotional information for the series. So any work that we love, we're 100% going to be using for any promotional, just to let you know. And you can send those to student.recruitment@norwichuni.ac.uk. We also really want to see what you're making throughout the summer school series, so please tag us in your photos of your workshop outcomes on Instagram. The Future Students Office have a specific Instagram handle. It's at @norwichuni_outreach, and we'll also be sharing some of our favorite pieces throughout the series as well. Thanks, Em. Em's busy putting those links into the chat for me. So to close, I want to say a massive thank you first to Em for being our tech wizard and being answering all your fantastic questions and popping in lots of different links for me. So thank you so much, Em. Give yourself a brilliant. Thanks so much. You've been a superstar today. And also finally, goes without saying, a massive thank you for Kian for giving us your time today. I think it's been a fantastic, informative, and challenging session as well.
Cool,
And
yeah.
I hope people have felt that they've been challenged today and that they've had fun, but also learnt some things as well. If you did have any burning questions for Kian that you might come off at the end of the session and be like, oh, I really wish I asked him that question, you can also email us student.recruitment@norwichuni.ac.uk, and then we can pass them on to Kian and then get a response.
Would you like me to provide just my email so any of them can go straight to me, or is it best to go through you?
Probably. I mean, you might get a barrage of emails.
Yeah, you guys just gonna spam me.
It's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you.
I will. I'll put my work email. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I don't mind. I've got today off work as well. So I've got time to.
Very, very jealous. The Padlet board is still open for people to add their work. Just a reminder, please tag us in your Instagram posts at @norwichuni_outreach. I know Em's put the link in the chat as well, and to send us your 3 outcomes in order to get your certificate. And also look out for the end of series feedback form that will be emailed to you. And you'll be in the chance of winning a £75 voucher, which would be awesome. So please fill out the group. So thank you so much. You're all free to go, and we hope to see you next week. Take care. Thank you so much, Nicola. Just saw a quick question. No, you just need to participate in 3 out of the 6. Cool. Thanks so much. Take care.